Morning, ma'am. And
She has to unmute herself.
Sir, unmute her.
yeah, I'm doing that. Ma'am, may I request you to unmute, please?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. On behalf of the Armed Forces Veteran Officers Association, I welcome you this morning. I welcome. I welcome you this morning. Oh, I'm so sorry. There is somebody talking in between. Yeah.
That's okay. These things happen.
We welcome you and thank you very, very much for readily agreeing to speak to us. You will speak to us and sing for us as well. Today we have a very good attendance, I must say. An average age of all of us will be something in the region of 65, I think, or perhaps even more. All of us are from the military, having retired. We have chosen to settle down here in Chennai. Okay. Our organization was formed, in fact, 26 years ago. This week we'll become 26 years old. We are all veterans who want to give back to society and make our nation great. We are very proud to have you. We have read so much about you. We have attended so many of your shows. It is our honor, it's our privilege to welcome you on behalf of all the members who are here. I now hand you over to the Secretary, Wing Commander Harshavardhan, who has been speaking to you earlier.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. And he will conduct the program from now.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's my proud privilege as the host for this morning's show to welcome and present before you our guest speaker for the day, Padma Bhushan awardee, Sangeeta Kalanidhi, Dr. Sudha Radhakrishnan. Good morning, ma'am. Welcome to the show.
I'm going to correct that. Wing Commander, excuse me for butting in. It's Sudha Raghunathan.
Sorry, I stand corrected. Now, before I hand over the proceedings to you, I'm going to take the liberty of giving a small introduction about you and highlight the achievements of you as a legendary musician. Sudha Raghunathan is one of the foremost Carnatic vocalists, a disciple of the legendary Padma Bhushan awardee, Dr. M.L. Vasantakumari. Sudha has evolved a style of her own, where the soul of her music lies in the dynamism of her presentation, with exceptional motives and matrices of raga. Sorry for that. I have to mute. Sudha Raghunathan was born in Chennai. The family spent many years in Bangalore and later moved back to Chennai, where Sudha completed her college education at Etharaj College, obtaining a postgraduate degree in economics. A hat-trick of sorts, she was the outstanding student of the college for 3 years in a row. Sudha is also a Fulbright scholar, having received a completion certificate in 2018. Sudha received her initial training in Carnatic music from her mother, Srimati Chudamani, and subsequently learnt under Sri B.V. Lakshmanan. In 1977, she received the Government of India scholarship to learn Carnatic music from the legend Dr. M.L. Vasantakumari, whose student she remained for 13 years. On 3rd July 2018, the 90th birth anniversary of her legendary guru, Sudha celebrated her guru's music by having 2 union ministers of the Indian government, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman and Sri Manoj Sinha, gracing the occasion. A commemorative postage stamp of Dr. M.L. Vasantakumari and a souvenir was released on the occasion. Sudha Raghunathan led the largest Carnatic band along with the Bharatanatyam and Kuchipudi dancers to acquire a place in the Guinness Book of World Records. 3 records were established on one day on 2nd February of this year. First, the largest Carnatic band with 700 singers, musicians, and instrumentalists. Second, the largest Kuchipudi dance lesson with 1,183 Kuchipudi dancers. Third, the largest Bharatanatyam dance lesson with 436 Bharatanatyam dancers. Sudha Raghunathan also has the distinction of being the only Carnatic musician, second to Bharat Ratna M.S. Subbalakshmi, to have sung at the United Nations. Her music echoed in the halls of the United Nations on 2nd October 2016, the International Day of Non-Violence, 50 years after Bharat Ratna M.S. Subbalakshmi did in 1966. Sudha Raghunathan is a recipient of the Padma Bhushan, the third highest civilian award in India for the year 2015. The Music Academy, one of the most prestigious institutions in the country, has awarded Sudhaji the Sangeeta Kalanidhi in recognition of her contribution. More than 100 awards and titles adorn her home. The state government's Kalaimamani, Sangeeta Chudamani, Sangeeta Saraswati, Sangeeta Vishrad, Sangeeta Sampurna, to name a few. Apart from her concerts and performance, Sudha also plays a role of conventional guru to her students and a contemporary guru to suit the current generation of aspirants at the various workshops that she conducts outside India. Religious institutions such as Sri Kanchakamurti Peetham, Abolya Mutt, Sringeri Sharada Peetham, Srirangam Srimad Andavan Ashram, and Sri Narayani Peetham have recognized Sudha as a stalwart musician and awarded her with the title of Asthana Vidwan. Well, with that introduction, I now once again welcome Sudha Raghunathan to our this morning's program. Ma'am, now it's over to you. We look forward to a very enlightening morning from you.
Thank you. Good morning to everyone, and a very big namaste. I thought this was going to be an informal meeting, but it seems more official and more formal. So that kind of gives me a few butterflies in my stomach. Looking at all your, in Tamil, we have to say, Veera Mogangal. We as citizens of this great nation, Bharat, our motherland, vow to the supreme struggles and sacrifices of our armed forces over the decades. Your stories of courage and sacrifice for the country is an inspiration to millions of us. And we, I must tell you, are so very proud of each one of you. To quote our Honorable Prime Minister, Sri Narendra Modi ji, every countryman's head bows with respect before your bravery. Every Indian citizen's chest swells with pride because of your bravery. The world has seen your courage, and the tales of your bravery and fortitude are echoing in every house in the country. We all know that we sleep peacefully at our homes because the Indian Army is guarding the frontiers. I'm particularly moved to tears each time I read this highlight from the Indian Army. Our flag does not fly because the wind moves it. It flies with the last breath of each soldier who died protecting it. I can only say thank you to you through my music and my prayers to the Almighty for each one of you through my music, and I'm sure every Bharatvasi is praying for y'all silently. Please accept our appreciation and our prayers. I would like to begin this session I'm going to call it a session because it's going to be an interactive session a little later. Of course, it's a patriotic song. And it's by a poet who is necessarily known as a patriotic poet, Sri Mahakavi Subramanya Bharati. Jaya Vande Mataram. Jaya Jaya Bharat, 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 Jaya 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 Vande Mataram. Vande Mataram. Jaya That was totally dedicated to the country and to the poet, to the music, and to every one of you. I hope you cherish the emotion that the poet brought out through his lyrics. I also want to add a small stanza of a kriti that I sang in New Delhi in March 2019 to celebrate the victory that Bharat, that the entire nation, that all of us looked up at this person with awe, with so much of, you can call it Deshabhakti, you can call it Veeram, you can call it pride. He might be the son of a mother and a father. But at that point of time, I must tell you that all of us felt he was our son. That was how proud we all felt. And this stanza is by Purandaradasa. It of course speaks of Jaya. It uses the words Jaya Jaya. And we all know that Jaya and Vijaya means victory. So this little melody is dedicated to Wing Commander Abhinandan Vardhaman, who, as we all know, was returned to us as a gesture of peace on the 1st of March 2019 at the Wagah border. And I apparently was singing at Delhi on, I think it was the 6th or 4th of March. And when I spoke to the audience, I mentioned that this kriti was dedicated to Abhinandan. The raga was Natai, which means Nadu, our country. And the first few words were Jaya Jaya, and it spoke of Janaki's Rama. So I kind of made a collage of the raga of the word Jaya and dedicated it to this brave personality. I sang a small viritam or shlokam before that. It speaks of the Tejas, the Ajanubahu presence of Rama, and then moved on to the song. I'm just going to sing the Pallavi and then I will start to talk to you all. Shri Raghavam, Shri Raghavam, Dasharathatmajam prameyam, Shri Raghavam, Dasharathatmajam prameyam, Sitapatim Raghukulanvaya Ratnadipam Ajanubahum Jaya 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 Janaki Kanta Jaya Sadhu Jana Vinuta Jaya Tu Mahimananda Jaya Bhagyavanta Jaya Jaya Janaki Kanta Jaya Sadhu Jana Vinuta Jaya Tu Mahimananda Jaya Bhagyavanta Jaya 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 speaks of the vinasham, of the victory of Rama over all that evil or negativity that surrounded him at that point of time. And hence I thought this was a kind of an appropriate song to celebrate our victory. So when I was asked to speak today, when I was invited for this session, I first wondered where I would fit in or how I would fit in. How my story would in some way be connected, be woven to the stories that all of you have in your lives. And when I sat and thought about it, I said, yes, maybe there is a similarity, because all of us begin our professions, our careers, our life journey. After we finish college, each one chooses a path and we walk on that path in this journey that we call life. And I believe that my life has been governed by a 6D formula, D for doctor, 6D formula. I first intended to be a gynecologist and took science as my major. I must share with you all that I excelled in my sessions at the laboratory. My dissections were perfect. My drawings were amazing. And I could have easily walked into the medical school. But there, destiny played a role. Since my mother Chudamani was my first guru, I had this privilege of music at home 24/7. My sister would sing, my mother would sing, she would have other students. And as I played with my toys, I'm sure all of you know what choco means. You know, you have all those little vessels, pardon me, those little vessels made of stainless steel and plastic. And my mother would give me some dal and some rice and some curry leaves. And I would sit in a corner and play with my chuppa and be humming all the vocal exercises that my mother was teaching the other students. And that's how music slowly seeped into my system. She never forced me to sing, but later I realized that she was seeing reality. She was creating reality of her dreams through me. She had always wanted to be a stage performer, but 50, 60 years ago, I think the Tam-Bram community was very rigid, very conservative, that they would not allow a woman to go on stage to perform. Yet, I must place my pranams at the feet of the three great women, especially D.K. Pattamalama, who came from this community, but walked strongly, walked with courage and faith to push aside all these barriers and come to the forefront as a singer we all look up to and we all refer to as one of the three great women besides my guru, Padma Bhushan M.L. Vasantakumari Amma and Bharat Ratna M.S. Subbulakshmi Amma. So my mother Chudamani put in more interest in me singing than in me studying. But me, as a child, put in more interest in studying than in music. So there was a slight conflict of interest there. But you know how mothers are, right? How persuasive they can be, how perseverant they can be, how silently they can, inject or instill that faith, that ambition in you as a child. I think she did it. And at one point of time, I myself felt that maybe I should shift my interests from science to something else which would give me enough time to also practice my music. I studied in Etharaj College, Chennai, and my professors were truly my motivators. They would speak to me during lunch break, after college hours, and tell me, Sudha, yes, your dissection of the frog and the cockroach is impeccable. We have to give you 51 out of 50, yes. But we feel that this voice, this power of delivery that you have is something that is given by the Almighty. And we all unanimously feel that you should move from science to arts so that you will have little more time to practice, to learn new songs, to increase your repertoire, and to be able to take wider strides in this field. That was on one side. On the other side, as Wing Commander Harshavardhan said, I won this scholarship from the Central Government of India, Department of Culture. And that enabled me to move to a legend of a guru, Dr. M.L. Vasantakumari. She heard me sing and she told my mother, yes, I will take her into my koteri. I will accept her as my student, but much of the learning she would have to do on her own, because I keep traveling so much, I keep singing so much, I will not have the time to teach Sudha. At that point of time, when my mother looked at me, for me, being under the tutelage of this great parampara of GN Balasubramaniam, GNB school, was like, wow, this is something that I can't let go. And when I looked at MLV Amma for the very first time on Gokulashtami, when I walked into her house, she's a great bhakta of Krishna. So she had put those footprints of Krishna walking into the house from the doorstep and had beautified Krishna, the idol Krishna, with all her jewelry and her pattu sari. And the ambience was so positive, her face so affectionate, her smile so embracing, that I did not know what a big challenge it was going to be to get into this space that she was going to create for me. When my mother asked me, she asked me, you know how you nod your head in exuberance, in enthusiasm, when something big is waiting for you. I did that. And after that, the 13-year journey with my guru has been something that I've cherished every day, every hour, every moment that I play the tampura and start to sing. What a personality. For everyone, their guru is somebody equal to God. That's how we have been trained in India, to look up at our gurus, to take their word as the final always. For me, my guru was not just a guru in music. She taught me so much in life, so many values, that if I live a life that I'm living today as a person with some merit that I can claim, it's only because of MLV Amma. Her training, her thought process, her words of courage. She would always say, challenges will come by the day, yes, but no challenge is bigger than your determination to overcome that challenge. That was what she would always keep saying. And ever since, of course, challenges are there. How many challenges have I seen? I can't even, it's kind of so much. But each challenge, when it comes to me, I don't seek a solution. I just go to sleep with her words echoing in my ears. And the next morning, the solution will be waiting for me. 13 years with her, traveling with her, doing Gurukula Vasam, learning on my own, yet rising up to the challenge of being a vocal support to MLV Amma. Slowly, I also started to perform my own concerts. And as all of you know, perhaps those of you who have followed the trajectory of music, my journey in music, you would realize that I began as a very tiny performer, attending all the competitions, innumerable competitions, maybe about 200, 250. And then walked into the sub-junior, then the junior, then the sub-senior, and of course, now the senior. I mentioned to you about the 6D formula. And I'm going to share to you what the 6 Ds are. First is the decision making. That I feel is very important for every one of us. The decision to understand what is the calling in our lives. What is the passion? That is the first D. And once the decision is made, what direction? Yes, music was my decision, but what direction would I walk was the next D. The next one, the third, was the determination. The moment you start in your profession, when I started to sing, it was not like every day there would be a performance. There would be lull days. There would be some lull months when I would still be determined and practice and have the faith and trust in my Guru's blessings that one day, yes, I would make a mark. So now we covered 3 Ds: decision, direction, and determination. The fourth one, the dare that all of you have. The dare to be unfazed with the challenges that we face. Not only as a musician, but also as a homemaker, as a wife, as a mother, as a daughter-in-law, as a sister-in-law, as a co-sister-in-law, as a friend. There are so many challenges that one faces. So the dare to stay put, to stay confident, to say, yes, I'm going on the right path. I will walk it. And in this profession, once you come into limelight, once you're in the eyes of the public, there's so much that people can just talk without any truth in it. So there, the dare plays a very major part. You need to stay put. You need to keep your feet firm on the ground. That I have done many a time. And I think the Almighty also has been very kind to me to help me hold that courage through my life to this point that I'm talking to you. The next D is the discipline with which I've conducted my life. The awareness of righteousness. The discipline that I've held on to, again, not only as a musician, but in the journey of life as such. I've always had a regime that I've held on to. Been very sincere to every concert that I have been invited to perform. Never kind of thought of it as, oh yes, it's just you know, a kind of a calling for today. Yes, let me finish it as a chore. Let me finish it as a duty. No. Every concert I have thought is a new one, is an area where I will get into to prove myself to be slightly better than what I had been in my earlier concert. I've always tried for that. Maybe I've not been so successful every time, each and every time. Now that we've crossed over thousands of concerts, and I look back, maybe there are a few thousands where I could have done better. But the thought to always do my best was always there. And of course, the final D is the destination. Is there a destination point? Is there a point where I can say, yes, this is my destination? Yes, the success of maybe the Padma Bhushan or the Sangeeta Kalanidhi, or my two children doing so well in their fields, respective fields. Is all of that a destination? I don't think so. Each time I feel I move closer to the horizon, which I may call a destination, I feel the horizon keeps moving. It's just like when I stand on the beach, on the sand, and I look at the horizon, which seems a little close. But if you take a ship, if you get onto the ship and move towards the horizon, you will realize that the horizon keeps moving further and further away. So I've always felt that my destination, to say that I have arrived at a destination, is never going to happen. Because there's so much to learn in music. Music is a sagaram. Every day when you listen to more music online, I feel there's so much I have to unravel as yet. So many more ragas to get familiar with. So many more kritis that I'm just starting to hear and which I feel I could imbibe into my repertoire, into my concerts. And hence, I feel this destination is like I'm still on the boat and sailing. And my rasikas and well-wishers all over the world keep this boat sailing smooth. And I take this moment to express my gratitude to every one of them for having motivated me, for having instilled me with that super confidence, for all those lovely smiles, for those applauses that they have given me. Each one of them has been a motivator in a different way. I have very positive critics, I have very negative critics. The positive critics, every time I do anything, they'll say, wow, it was so good. Thodi was so good today. You know, that kapi that you sang was so touching, was so emotive. Then there is a group that says, yeah, it's okay. You could have done better maybe, you know. Maybe you should have approached it a little more intellectually. And then there is another group that says, no, I think you really have to practice this kriti at least 50 times at home before you bring it to stage and present it. And this big group is my little book of, those, what do you call it? It's a little dictionary, or should we say a directory. They direct me towards what I need to do henceforth. From here, where? You tell me. I'm opening this session to questions from all of you. If there is anything that I might be able to address, I would gladly do that.
Thank you, Sudhaji. That was so lovely. All the 6 Ds that you gave it to us. Okay. Now, I will start the question and answer session with a couple of questions from my side. Okay. Okay. The first one that I have for you is that you're famous not only as a legend of the Carnatic music, but you're also very famous for your attire. You always wear very colorful and the most attractive pattu sarees, and then you have your trademark bindi and the vibhuti and a bunch of jasmine flowers on your head. And your choice of jewelry to go along with your attire is also fantastic. So my question to you is, how important is it to an artist about her sense of dressing for a performance? And the other question I have related to this is, how do you go about selecting those beautiful Kanjivaram pattu sarees?
I thought that should be coming from a lady. Well, I'm even more happy that it's coming from you. I think this was a trait or a quality that was also acquired from my guru. She was very conscious of how she would present herself on stage. I would walk into the house at 10 a.m. in the morning to her house. She would be in a house coat, her hair tied up, no bindi, nothing. Very, very informal, very, down to earth. Just like any other mommy, like how I'm at home. And then the day would go on. It would be 5 o'clock, she would still be the same. And I would start to get tense. The concert is at 6:30 and it is in Paris. It is at Raja Annamalai Mandram. And we need half an hour to go there and we need 10 minutes to settle down, which means she has only 40 minutes to get ready. My God, what should I do? Because only if she starts to get ready, can I start to get ready. Then she would close the door. And in about 35 to 40 minutes, she will come out radiant, like a freshly blossomed flower. She would wear an even bigger pottu than me. And she would wear a bun and the flowers around the bun, a lovely pattu saree with a good contrast, like light blue with dark blue, turquoise with blue, or a green and red, or a yellow and red border. Not overly dressed, not flamboyantly dressed. But, in Tamil, we use the word lakshanam. So she would have that. And when you look at her, you wouldn't understand that, oh, today's concert is going to be excellent, the way she attires herself. So when she goes and sits on stage, so majestic, and with the house lights on her, people are in a trance. People enjoy the music. At the same time, they're looking at her majestic and lively presence. So she would always say, Sudha, ellarum vandu nammala paakra 2 mani neram 3 mani neram nammalaye paathittu irukka. Naama vandu dance natyam aadrava mari, we don't tell them a story. We don't do gestures for them to be really getting into a kind of a state of involvement. We're just sitting there and we are just using the voice to present our music. So we have to be attired impeccably. We have to dress with good aesthetic sense, not wear dull colors. You know, look,
Wow.
even she would also think her posture should be good, erect. You know, gambirama irukkanum appadina. So that was one thing that I thought I should also bring into my life. And I started doing it. And when I found people appreciating it, everyone saying, Sudha, you know, we came to see what color sari you're wearing today and what accessories are matching that sari. I said, okay, fine. This keeps me going because I love dressing up well. So I said, this is another motivating factor. And hence, I think the journey started towards getting better and better in what you wear and how you accessorize those saris. Where do I buy the saris or how I wear the saris is like a question that I can't really answer pinpointedly, because when I travel several cities, and if I do go in early or stay over a day, I travel to a shop in, you know, a boutique in that city. If I find something interesting, I just bring it and put it into my cupboard. I forget about it. So then when Diwali comes, I don't go rushing into T Nagar or Mylapore to buy a sari. I go into my little stock and pick a sari. And I think the choice of saris is like something that I can be really proud of, because when I look at them, you know, sometimes when somebody has a library of good books, they don't even want to read. They go there and stand there and say, these books, wow. And each book has a story to tell. It was bought in 1985, one was bought in 2005, one was bought in 2018. So too, I have my saris and I go and look at the cupboard, open the cupboard and say, this sari I wore in UN. This was for the Sangeeta Kalanidhi. For Padma Bhushan, I bought another sari. So the list goes on. And I think there's a small kind of a childish joy that you get when you look at your treasures.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Now, going on a little bit on a serious note, now my next question to you is that now with this pandemic around, I'm sure the Carnatic musicians as well as the music itself has been badly hit. So in this situation, what do you see the way forward for Carnatic music? Is it going to be digital all the way? And if it is when it goes digital, and do you miss the connect as a performing artist with your Rasikas?
Yes. You have asked me the question and you have answered it also, in a way. My last concert for 2020 was in Kerala on the March 10th. Even then, Kerala had, you know, reported of 3 or 5 cases of COVID. And this place where I was performing was very close to that little village where they had identified these 3. That set me going so jittery. I said, how am I going to even perform today with this thought being so kind of sitting there like a thorn? But then we performed, and then I told the organizers that I will not. Usually after the performance, we allow the audience to come up and take pictures, selfies, sign the autographs, you know, talk to them, go on a nostalgic journey where we had met them earlier, all of that. But I particularly told the organizer that I would not be able to meet any of the audience because we were hearing of this COVID cases. And then we came back. And after that, March 24th, lockdown was announced. So the first week, I was like a child who was, you know, declared off from school. I would sleep late. I would get up late. I would eat when I want, watched movies, just lazed around, reading books, talked for hours together on phone with my friends. And then after a week, that kind of joy and happiness was there no more, because I was itching to get back to where I really belonged. I felt caged. I would always feel like a bird when I flew out of the house. And when this bird was caged, I said, oh my God, how long is this going to go on? At that point of time, even on April 14th, when the second lockdown was announced, I thought, okay, one more, maybe. And then the cases would start coming down. And you know, you have all these social media messages floating around saying, yes, this astrologer said that, that astrologer said that. And you are in such a vulnerable position that you start to think, okay, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. Rahu Ketu is going to move house. Jupiter is going to the 9th house. So everything is going to become okay. But then now we realize that this is more serious than what we have been thinking it was. And at that point of time, I realized that there were many musicians who had just started out to take this as a profession and who had not really saved up for a rainy day. You know, they lived out of the earning or the income that came from the concerts that they earned in that particular month. So all these Nadaswara Vidwans, all the Tawil Vidwans, the Tambura makers, the Tambura players, the co-percussion artists, the younger group, all of them were really kind of hard up for money. We have an organization called GCMA, Global Carnatic Musicians Association. And I happen to be the present president for that. So we called up for a meeting and we said, let us do something for all of these artists. Let's start to support them. So we created an artist welfare fund and each of us put in the first amounts. We contributed and created a fund and started to send out 5,000, 3,000, buying a month's provisions for certain families. And I think over the last 3 months, we've helped about 600 artists to the tune of 38 lakhs. And for the next 3 months, we intend to help them too with, we created an online concert platform where 14 artists have presented concerts. It's called Paramvaryam 2020. And then we gave away this package of 14 concerts for a price to different organizations in the US and collected a corpus. So we have enough to support these artists for the next 3 months. Besides this, I have a foundation called Samudaya Foundation, where we have mainly concentrated on supporting children with infrastructure and health care. We have contributed towards over 5 crores. I must, interestingly at this point, I must share with you all that Samudaya Foundation was born because of my little dream to contribute to the Kargil Defense Personnel Relief Fund. That was the first cause. I performed, and when I performed, we sold tickets and I told all my friends and well-wishers, I said, I am performing for this cause, to contribute for this cause. And can you support this? And they all supported, and we were able to collect a small amount of 5 lakhs. And I sent that to the Prime Minister, the then Prime Minister, towards the Kargil Personnel Defense Relief Fund. So I must thank all of you for having made my dream of creating Samudaya Foundation a reality. Samudaya by itself is also collecting funds to help Vidwans across Tamil Nadu. We have identified some Nadaswara Vidwans who are really jobless. I mean, they get their income out of playing in temples, at the Murtam concerts, at little festivals that happen, you know, Taipusam, whatever, Vaigasi, Visagam, all these festivals, but nothing has happened. So they really do not have enough funds to support their family. So we have identified, and I have also identified a donor in the United States who's going to send money to Samudaya Foundation, and we're going to distribute that. Me and 2 others have joined hands with me, the younger generation, Akshay Anantapadmanabhan, a mridangist, and Brinda Manikavasakam, a vocalist. We're going to form a trio and try to help these artists out. Where do we see music on, you know, like at a sabha or at a wedding concert or at different fora, is a very big question. Yes, because till the government says yes to switching on the air condition in the auditoriums, it's going to be difficult to have all these very big auditoriums open, like the Music Academy, Narada Gana Sabha, Krishna Gana Sabha, because the seating capacity is like 1,500, 1,800. So how can we have a concert in these auditoriums without the AC performing? And also, there is another reality that those who attend Carnatic music concerts are at an average age of 45 plus. So I really doubt if we would all brave that anxiety within us to, say, yes, we can sit next to each other and listen to this concert. I really doubt that. So maybe for the next 4 months, we will have to run virtual concerts, online concerts. It is happening. In fact, on August 8th, I'm performing at Narada Gana Sabha Mini Hall to a no audience. It's going to be a concert that is going to be on Zoom and streamed. It's, somebody's 50th birthday, and the husband wants to surprise the wife. I hope nobody in that family is listening to it, because it's supposed to be a surprise. So virtual concerts will be happening for another 4 to 5 months, we believe. And then maybe when we tap on the vaccine or the right medicines, then we might be able to be realistically sitting in an auditorium listening to a live concert.
Let's hope things clear up before the December season starts, so we would have a lot of musicians on stage. Ma'am, I have one more question for you. Can you tell us something about the accompanist who are part of your concert? Do you have any favorite, the violin or the mridangam artist who you are comfortable playing, or you're open to anybody accompanying you on the various instruments?
Performing on stage, when we perform a concert, it's like a family. We are like a family, especially when we travel for long journeys. Like when we travel to the US, we break even. The organizer breaks even only when we perform at least about 10 to 12 concerts. Because of the travel, the tickets, and the incidental domestic air tickets, then renting the auditoriums, all that is very expensive. The expenditure, the overheads are really high. And hence, only if we perform 10 to 12 concerts will they be able to pay us well and also break even. When we travel on these kind of 2-month or 1-month tours, we travel like a family. And hence, I think that those vibes that we have with the accompanying artists, be it the mridangist or violinist, or I always have a co-percussion, be it a morsing or a ganjira or a ghatam player. So we have to have that happiness within us. Every morning I shouldn't think on getting up and saying, oh my God, I have to face this gentleman. I don't know how I'm going to even continue the day with his presence. I should never feel like that. I should always feel like, okay, today we get up, let's have fun. Let's watch a movie on the off days. Let's go sightseeing. And then on the day of the concert, plan the concert, make the concert good, of good quality. We always try to hit the best. We always look at 100. And if it's not 100, at least 95, at least 90. And the introspection is always there. And we always discuss after the concert is over, how the concert was, what could have been better. Maybe audio could have been better. Maybe, the Rasikas could have applauded a little more. They could have been more involved with us in the music. That would have set our inspiration going higher. So we discuss all these things, we crack jokes, we share funny messages that we get. So we're almost like brother and sister, like a family. I would rather say friends than relatives. So that's why I think every artist chooses their accompanying artist. I'm ready to sing with everyone, accompaniments wise. But definitely I have certain preferences. I look at not only the persona of the person, but also the quality of the playing. There is a particular parampara that I come from. So my style, my gharana, their playing has to match my gharana. When I look at that, I write down, I can write down about 5 artists in each, the co-percussion, mridangam, and violin. And I think if I may share some names, just offhandedly, it's M.R. Kannan, B.V. Raghavendra Rao, Charumati Raghuram on the violin, M.R. Gopinath. These are the violinists who usually accompany me. On the mridangam, it is now presently Thiruvarur Vaidyanathan has been playing for over 25 years. Now, because he lives mostly in the US, he's kind of, I think he's a green card holder. So, இப்போ வாசிக்கிறவா வந்து அக்ஷய் அனந்த பத்மநாபன், Paladam Ravi, Neyveli Skanda Subramaniam, Ananta Krishna, Patri Satish Kumar. And on the co-percussion, on the morsing, we have Raman and we have a Krishnan. On the Ganjira, we have KV Gopalakrishnan, Sundar Kumar. On the Ghatam, we have Karthik, who's very good. Guru Prasad, who's also a youngster who's extremely good. So the list is like, is very flexible. I mean, I've only mentioned a few names, but as I said, I could accommodate, I would accommodate any newcomer as well. Because my guru MLV always used to, you know, embrace the talent of youngsters, because she would say, they need the stage, they need your participation, they need to participate with you in the concert for them to get elevated to the next stage. So we do also embrace a lot of young talent.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, man. Now, I'll direct a question coming from Brigadier Sridharan. Sir, kindly unmute yourself and ask the question.
Yeah. Firstly, I have attended a lot of your concerts, unfortunately, in number of cities. Like I heard you in Shanmugananda Hall, Bharat in Bombay, as well as thing. I wonder whether you remember the Indian Oil sponsored concert in 90. I have a slightly different question. Your Todi in the morning raga, especially that Nishadam and Gandharam which you sang, I think that stands out for many. I see even the younger artists following that. Is it a Kalpana Swara or it is the prefix swaring that you sang? I hope you got my question.
Yes, yes.
In the Taye Yasoda, you do a little alapna, then you see that Nishadam and Gandharam is something out of the world. I heard you so much. I can definitely, I don't miss your 25th December concerts at all. So with that, I'm telling you. But that Todi, that Gandharam, that is, and I have heard a lot of people saying that. What's it? Is it a Kalpana Swara or it is the one that was prefixed?
Okay, for those of you who have not listened to that Taye Yashoda, that version of Taye Yashoda, it's from a movie called, it's for a movie called Morning Raga, where Shabana Azmi plays the role of a Carnatic musician. So that particular song, I must share with you all how that song was recorded. And then you'll be, Brigadier, you'll be shocked to know that, oh my God, did I even ask her the question? Is it appropriate? When you hear the answer. I went in, Rajiv Menon was helping with completing the music of that movie. So one day I get a call from him and he said, Sudha, can you come to the studio, Kevani studio? We need to record something. So I just walk into the studio and I expect, usually in the studio, there's a big band waiting, you know, violinist, cello player, guitarist, electric guitar, bass guitar, pianist, mridangam, ghatam, ganjira, drums. Everyone is in different cubicles. Nobody is there. Only Rajiv Menon is there with Kirwani, the music director. And then they asked me to go into a small room. Usually these rooms are well padded with thermocol and other materials so that it's very audio friendly. You know, the audio is extremely good. There's no echo at all. So I go in there. He says, put on your headphone, just sing Todi. So I said, what, just sing Todi? What do I sing in Todi? So he said, no, we're recording something and then we will take chunks of it. We will splice it and take chunks and then bring in a wholesomeness to it, because it's going to be a song for fusion. Okay, then I understood. I said, okay. So I said, how classical should it be? He said, nee kacheriil eppadi paadudhiyo adu mari paadu. So I said, okay. Then I sang, I don't remember what I sang, really, because it was Mano Dharma. I sang it there. I sang for about 10, 12 minutes. And then he said, okay, sing Taye Yashoda. I said, put the click track. When we say click track, it'll go tuck, 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 tuck. And then you maintain the tala for that and you sing Taye Yashoda Undanayar Kula Mayar Gopala Krishnan Cheyyum Jalathai Keladi Taye. And then he said, sing Kalpana Swaram. So I sang few Kalpana Swarams. And they said, thank you, and I went home. I didn't know what they were going to make out of that material. After about 2 months, I get a call from Rajiv Menon again. He says, Sudha, we have to do some corrections in the song that you sang. We made a song of it. We made a composition of it. Can you get to Kirwani studio? So I go there. And my God, my jaw dropped. When I listened to the composition, they had spliced different points and placed them in order, in sequence, and made the song in entirety. So what did I sing that day? Anandada, Anandada. You know, there's this part where the tanam comes. You know, those parts I hadn't sung in the previous take. So he said, we've left space for that. Now you sing that. So I sang that and they put it into place, and that's how the composition was built.
Thanks.
Thank you, ma'am.
Very impressive.
Next question to you from Mrs. Shobha Vartaman. Shobha, ma'am, unmute yourself.
Yes,
Sudama, namaskaram.
Yes. Namaskaram. Namaskaram.
You know, in my family, when they say that somebody who is so holistic like you, they are called Bhavya Jeevan. And I'm so happy to meet one today.
My pleasure, and I bow my head to you.
And you know, you made my day. Today is my birthday, and you have, I couldn't have asked for a better gift from God beyond this, actually.
So I'm going to sing a happy birthday for you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Shobha. Happy birthday to you. Now I'm going to sing it in the classical style, Carnatic style. Happy birthday to you. 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 Dayam padakanigalum kulir poontendralum polum polirpasumayum vaayந்து nangila Mataram. Mataram. Vande Mataram. That was especially for you.
Thank you so much. I'm really blessed today, one, to be sung, and my favorite poet also.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm going to represent one of our retired vice chief who has requested you to sing Mata Malayatvaje. But my question is, you know, I've seen your shows, your chat shows and your cookery shows. You're such a all-rounded person. And in that, you had also interviewed Vidya Balan. And day for yesterday, I saw Shakuntala Devi
Shakuntala Devi, yeah.
on the first day for show, thanks to you. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known actually.
Okay.
And one thing just stuck in my mind, that in the movie she says ultimately that my daughter looked at me, I looked at my mother as a mother and not as a woman. And so did my daughter look at me as a mother and not a woman, kind of. Now, my question is, how did your daughter look at you? Because did she look at you as this absolutely a bundle of talents with multifarious, skills? Or did she just expect you? I mean, I'm sure you had a lot of when she grew up, you
Yes.
perhaps wouldn't have had time to look after
Yes.
her and things. Did she want her mother as mother to herself, or how did you make her accept you as the woman who needs to be, you said you feel like a bird who wants to be out of the home.
Yes.
And how did your family and particularly your daughter accept you?
Yeah, you really pinned it down, nailed it down. Initially, they were both Kaushik and Malvika were very, kind of not so happy about me not being at home. Their complaint was, you never attend our Parents' Day function. You never see us getting our prizes. You never see us performing on stage for Parents' Day. Ellaru சாப்பாடு கொண்டு வரா எல்லா அம்மாவும் வரா. Why don't you bring lunch for me one day at least? So these were the commonest complaints. And when they would fall ill, like when Kaushik fell ill with typhoid, I had already gotten committed to a small concert tour of UAE, 2-3 concerts, one in Bahrain, Dubai, Abu Dhabi. So what could I do? I couldn't cancel the concert. So I had to leave him with my sister-in-law, with my Nathanar. And I don't think he was very happy about it then. When they were about 17, 16, 17, I think, they were unhappy that I did not spend enough time with them. Though I did make it a point to give them, chunks of value time. Summer holidays, their school summer holidays, I would see that I would also take off for 15 days. Then we would take small trips to Kodaikanal, Ooty, Darjeeling, other places where, we could spend time. I would cook for them. We would sit and play cards or snakes and ladders, dai kattai, all of that, and all the dumb charades, all those games that I think any family plays. Then they would say, we have Amma to ourselves. And even then, when we walked down the road or we went shopping somewhere, if somebody came running and said, "Ma'am, Sudha ma'am, please sign for us, pose for us for a photograph," immediately I would see their faces long drawn. Ingi vanduta. Ingi vanduta. My daughter especially used to get very upset about it. She said, "Why do you have to do this? Say you are with me. You need to give time to me," she would always say. So I said, "Appadi illa kanna. They are the ones who enjoy your music. You have to mutually respect them and give that little time. Make them feel important. That's very important." But I felt that equation never got into her head. But after they touched their 20s, then they realized that, my Amma is not just my Amma. She's someone else. She has to don different hats at different times. They realized that once the maturity came into them. And then they started to become very proud. But I must tell you this, that when Kaushik did his 12th, and he was waiting for counseling for engineering. He wanted to do what did he do? Biotechnology. There was an option that he might get into Anna University. But there was a little doubt. On the mark, 97 something, you know how it is. 97.2, you will lose out to 97, to 97.5. So there was that, little doubt. So I said, shall I talk to the CM? And, then it was Madam JJ who was there. So I said, shall I go and meet her and tell her? No, ma. எனக்கு என்ன கிடைக்கிறதோ கிடைக்கட்டும் முன்மூலமா கிடைக்க வேண்டாம்
Sounds very familiar.
So he said okay. So I said okay, fine. We went for counseling, and then he got PhD technology in Coimbatore. So that's how that story happened. And he would never ever mention that I was his mother. I don't know. I think they felt a little intimidated when people say, kind of look at them as Sudha's son or Sudha's daughter. They want to be known as Kaushik and Malvika. And today, I have to say I'm Kaushik's mother because he is assistant professor at the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor. So, I mean, I guess each one of us has that pride and self-dignity. However old we are, however he's my child, he still wants that. And I think I also gave him that space.
And as a parent, you'd be more proud that they have their space, and we are very proud that we are called their children. Actually, I mean, their
exactly. இன்னைக்கு உங்களுக்கு எவ்வளவு சந்தோஷமா இருக்கு இல்லையா? So அந்த மாதிரி, I think we also need to our generation has to change and open out from our generation. I think there has been a change in the way we interact with our children. Give them that space of decision making, what they want to do. Because so many people ask me, wherever I go, they say, "Unga kulandai paaduvada, edha vaasipala, mirudanga vaasipala." And when I say no, very nonchalantly, I have hold my head high and say no. Ayyo, ungalku varuthama illaya? Ungalku, aren't you disappointed? I say, I'm not disappointed. Why should I be? I would have been happy if Malvika had sung, because she had a lovely voice, and if she heard a film song, she would repeat it immediately. But then she chose to do something else. She chose to work with special children. And now I feel that's a very special decision that she's made. So I don't feel disappointed. And I see the disappointment on my questioner's face.
Maybe this music is in her genes and she'll use it to help the special children. And that will be a greater achievement than,
I would think so. Yes. We'll see how the journey goes.
And your destination is very clear. There is no need to ask anybody for help in your destination. You have clearly got your destination very well defined, actually.
Thank you. And are there any more questions? Because I want to finish the session with Mate. I'll finish the singing finally, and then we'll say goodbye. So if there are any questions, I would address that first.
This is a request from an 82-year-old veteran who was the Vice Chief of Indian Air Force. And he has specially requested. I'm only a messenger carrying it for him, actually. Definitely. And he's listening to you now.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shobhaji.
Okay, ma'am, one question is there from Major Narayanan. He wants to know, what is your favorite raga?
This is a question that has always been asked, and the answer is like prefixed. So I've always said earlier, in maybe 1950s or even 60s, 40s, 50s, parents would have 10 children. They would have 12 children. And then if I went up to them and asked them, which child do you like the best? Will anyone say, I like the last child best or the first child best? They'll say, all the children are my eyes. I like all of them equally. So too, all my ragas are my heart's calling. So I love all my ragas, but particularly certain ragas, touch my soul very much. I get very moved Every raga that I sing every day is my best raga. Beyond that, I have a slight soft corner for a raga called Shubhapantu Varali, which has a very
difficult raga.
Should we say plaintive note, a very slightly touching on the borders of melancholy, you know, where you get moved. And when you are emotionally moved, usually the artist is able to connect to a power beyond where we live. It goes beyond, travels miles, and I would say touches a point where you reach the omnipotent through the music. You know, you lose consciousness of where you are sitting and singing. You are oblivious to who you are singing to. It's a space, very special space, where you connect to the Almighty immediately. And somewhere I feel that raga helps me connect that way.
Okay. I know we have overshot the time you allotted to us. There are one or two more questions coming in. Is it okay if I ask them to you?
Yeah, quickly, just quickly. I will stop at 30.
Somebody wants to know what are the similarities or the between MLV and MS that as an artist, as artists.
As artists, I think they were dreamers. They were creators. They had that magic, which they, you know, that magic wand in their voice. Though their voices were different, the texture, the timbre, everything was different. MS Amma's voice was like honey. It flowed like honey. The sweetness was there. The drama was there. You know, she could create the God in vision if she opened her mouth. It said, Sriman Narayana. You can see, immediately you can see the Lord of Seven Hills. Or she said, Jagadodharana Maganado Tiliyutan Jagadodhar. When she sang that, you can, if you close your eyes, you could see Krishna. That way, she had that power. You know, the bhakti would ooze out of her music. MLV Amma, on the other hand, her creativity was unimaginable. If you, it's like, you know, you go and stand by the Niagara Falls and you just watch the falls for 5 minutes, you see the water flowing in different tempos, different volumes. Sometimes it's like, shh, sometimes it's like, shh, shh. You know, all those different ways that it falls. That's how her voice was used. It would be, there would be Gambiram in it, there would be sweetness in it, there would be gravity in it, there would be a total one-to-one connect in it. And her repertoire, her varied repertoire, from Dasa to Papanasam Shivan to Tyagaraja to Shama Sastri to Muthuswami Dikshita, her Manodharma was her strength in the case of MLV. As regards the personalities, both of them were people's people. People just loved them. Audience, if today, after 25 years, after 30 years, when one speaks of MLV or of MS, you know, the whole body is filled with a positive energy. You feel like wanting to talk more and more about them. If that power remains, I think it's because the person they were. So affectionate, so humble, so down to earth, so caring, so generous, so giving, so dedicated. I think that is what made their lives so important for all of us to look up at and emulate. Each one of us is trying to, you know, be it Sudha, be it Bombay Jayashree, be it Aruna, be it Ranjini Gayatri, be it Samya, all of us look up at these wonderful yesteryear women artists as our gods. And we try to take what we can from each one of them, try to take the best from each one of them and put that into a formula into our heads so that we can somewhere, someday become like that.
So, thank you so much. Okay, one last question, and this is from my side, ma'am. Do maintain a record of all the concerts that you have performed? There has been thousands and thousands of them. But why I'm asking this is 28 November 1982, you sang in the wedding of me and Chandrika. Okay, those days you were Sudha Venkatraman. So I still remember, we cherish those memories. After the Kancheri was over, you talked to both of us. And we're really your ardent fans as on date also. So you have any guess as to how many concerts you must have performed till now?
I don't know. I have to make a calculation. I'm a person like, once I finish a concert, it's behind me. Now I start looking forward. What's the next concert in front of me? I start preparing for that. So actually, I mean, I wouldn't remember, but I would think somewhere maybe in the range of 5,000, 6,000. I don't know. Could be more.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, ma'am. And we'll allow you to finish off with that request for a song from your side.
Yes, yes.
Finish with the questions.
I want to just finish with these words. Happiness always looks small while you hold it in your hands. But let it go and you will learn how big and precious it is. Today, I let my happiness go to all of you. From this soul to all those souls that have been listening to this session over the last hour. And I must thank you all for having given me this opportunity to share this, share my, little nuggets of what has happened in the journey of life. And I'm sure you see some similarities in that, each one in a different way. And I seek your good wishes and hope to see you all in my concerts when they happen in the new normal situation after COVID-19. Thank you. Mate Malaya Dwaja Pandya Sanjate Mate Malaya Dwaja Pandya Sanjate Matanga Vadana Guga Mate Malaya Dwaja Pandya Sanjate Matanga Vadana Guga Shatodari Shankari Chamundeshwari Chandrakaladari Kaya Gauri Shatodari Shankari Chamundeshwari Chandrakaladari Kaya Gauri Dada Nidada 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 Nipamarada Nirisa Nisada Nisada Pamama Dada Nigari Nirisada Nisada Pama Dada Magamapa Pama Pada Dani Damadada Risa Nida Nidada Madani Mani Dada Sasa Padani Dada Madari Sani Dada Madada Nidada Sada Rida Madari Sani Dani Sani Nida Da Pamba Dada Nidada 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 Nibaba Dada Nidisa Nidada Nisada Baba Dada Nidani Nisada Nisada Baba Dada Magaba Baba Dada Nidaba Darisa Nidani Dada Magani Banida Suzuba Ganida Madani Sanida Badada Nidada Sada Nida Badani Sanida Sani Nida Baba Tam Tam Takajanu Dada Nidadi Nikita Tam Tam Kukudari Janu Dada Baba Tam Tam Nidadi Nisa Dimita Nikita Joja Utakuta Kukuta Hina Utani Dari Kinatari Deku Badani Daganam Saja Dimita Dum Dimita Kida Dada Badada
Thank you very much on behalf of President M. Raghunathan, all members of our Armed Forces Veterans Association. I wish to convey my sincere thanks to you. I mean, I just mailed you and then you accepted our request. And it's been a wonderful morning. And thanks to you, you extended our session by about 30 minutes. And I'm sure all our members, each one of us, are going to cherish this memory of the interaction with you this morning. And once the lockdown and other restrictions are lifted, we look forward to having you in one of our meetings. And till such time, all the very best to you. Now I'll back to M. Raghunathan for winding up. Back to you, sir.
And thank you very much for, I mean, you made our day. You spread so much of happiness. And our very, very, very best wishes to you. You only done 5,000 concerts. You got miles to go. And our good wishes that may it be 15,000, may it be 20,000 to come. Our very, very good wishes to you. The very best. And may you go from success to success and accolades. And thank you very much for making our day.
Very much. Wish you all the very best.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mother, sir.
Great.